This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, friends. Welcome to vividtrainings.com. So, today we are going to understand the data flow. Okay, so we know that the data flow, what it will do, it is used to do the ETL operations, right? So, we can load the data from one place to another place. That is what the data flow is going to be doing. So, it contains sources, destinations, and transformations. We have seen some basic thing, right? So, what are the data flow items we have in SSIS? So, data flow items like sources and destinations. Let us see what are the sources and destinations we have. So, we have ADO net source or destination, Excel source or destination, flat file or CSV source destination, OLEDB source or destination, raw file source or destination, XML source, CDC source. Okay, so ADO.net. So this is the destination. Data mining modeling training. So data reader destination, dimension processing, Excel destination, flat file destination, OLEDB destination. So ODBC destination and partition processing, raw file destination, record set destination, SQL server compact destination, SQL server destination. So what are the differences between these two? Okay, so these are the things we have. Okay, we are going to be understanding it clearly. So ADO.NET source is like it is used to connect to any .NET source or applications. Okay, so if I want to connect to SharePoint, okay, if I want to connect to SharePoint, or else it is going to be like the .NET server, any kind of .NET server or the applications which are using the .NET kind of coding, so that we are going to be using ADO.NET source. So if anybody is asking in the interview, or else if you have joined in one company, if someone is asking to work on .NET language, so you need to say that I don't have idea. So till now I didn't get any chance to work on the .NET language in SSIS. So I am completely working on the other things regarding the SQL server, the data loading. So these kind of things I have worked. I don't have any knowledge on the .NET. So you need to say this thing. Okay. So already in a project, in a project, we are going to be having some .NET developers, Java developers, some Python developers, okay, SQL developers, some different. Okay, for one project we required all these things, guys. All the technologies we require. So that is why if you are getting any, like if you are getting any kind of requirement to work on the .NET, so you need to go to that particular colleague who is working on .NET or something else. You need to say this is the requirement. So how can we proceed? What is the kind of code we need to write and where we need to write? So all these things you need to go and you need to ask. If it is an urgent requirement that you need to do, okay, so you need to go and you need to take help from others, okay, or Google it. But nobody will scold you. If you don't know, nobody will scold you. Don't worry. I didn't get chance. That's it. I didn't get chance to look into this .NET, so I haven't worked on this. So if you want me to work, it will take some time, but I will complete. So you need to say like that. Clear? So 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 and in interview question they will ask you the important interview question. How many packages you want to like you have created? Okay, how many packages you have created in your complete experience? You need to say yes sir, more, many packages I have created, like around 50 plus I have created the packages. Why? Because you are in 3 to 4 years of experience means, okay, small packages included, so you can say 30 plus or 50 plus, depends upon your experience. Okay, so Excel source and the destination. So what is the Excel source? So if you are having some kind of data in Excel, okay, if you want to load that Excel data into some destination, in any of the destination, maybe in the SQL server, if you want to load, you can load it. Okay, you can load that Excel data, whatever the Excel data we have. So we can connect to Excel and you can get the data from that, and you can, destination is nothing but like if you want to, okay, you got the data in some table, in SQL server table. That means you have loaded the data from flat file to SQL server. So the requirement is, so not only loading the data, the final data, the cleaned data into the SQL server, I want to load that cleaned data into Excel destination also. So that you need to choose the path. That's it, nothing much. We'll see that. Okay, we'll see one demo also. Flat file or CSV source. So flat file, we know flat file is nothing but notepad file, right? If you are getting some data in the notepad file, so you need to choose the flat file source. Okay, flat file source, and give the connection, give the path where the file is located, and you need to load that data into the SQL server destination. Okay, not only SQL server, you can store in any of the rdbms software too. Okay, you can store any of the rdbms tool. So depends upon the, okay, project, that requirement. Okay, the project, that guys, those guys in which rdbms tool they are working. Okay, in that tool we need to load the data. CSV is nothing but comma separated value. Okay, comma separated value. The comma is nothing but the delimiter in that particular data, particular file. Okay, so we are going to be getting some of the files like tsv also, tsv, csv, flat files, all these things. So you can call it as a notepad files. Okay, tsv is nothing but a tab separated value. So you are going to be getting the data in terms of like a tab. The delimiter is a tab. Okay, so for example, in a notepad file we have employee id comma name comma salary comma gender, right? So comma here, comma is the delimiter. So this file you can call it as a comma separated value, or flat file you can call, or notepad file you can call. So for example, there is another file, employee id tab space, okay, tab space name, tab space salary, tab space gender. So here the tab space is nothing but the delimiter. Okay, so the complete data, whatever the data you have in that particular file, it is going to separate with the tab space. So that is called a TSV, tab separated value. So tab, TSV, CSV, flat file, all these calls, all this you can call as a notepad. Okay, that is what you need to understand. So OLEDB source or a destination. So OLEDB source. So read the data from okay, SQL server, RDBMS, any of the RDBMS. That is what. Okay, you can read the data from any of the rdbms OLEDB source, any of them, not only SQL, Oracle, Postgres, MySQL, Netezza, all these things. Clear? Okay, so, and let me um, open the Visual Studio, SSIS. Hmm. Data flow, go to data flow, you can see sources. Let me go to the sources and destinations. Okay, ADO we have seen CDC source. CDC source is nothing but it is used for incremental load. Okay, we will discuss that incremental load. Okay, excel source we have seen. If you have excel data, you can choose this excel source and get give the path where the excel file is available, so that you can load the whatever the particular data you have in that excel source. You can load it into the any of the rdbms tool. Okay, so flat file we have seen, you can read the data from csv or tsv or flat file or some any kind of like a notepad. You can read the data from those. Okay, so OLEDB source is you can read the data from any of the rdbms2, any of the rdbms2. Okay, so and raw file source, what exactly the raw file source, uh, what it is going to contain. So what is the difference between raw file source and sorry, flat file source? So we'll understand this raw file source and flat file source. I will let you know. So xml is nothing but extensive markup language. Okay, extensive markup language. So if you know what is xml, let me show you how the data is going to be available in xml. So see, this is what the data is going to be, how this is employee. Okay, so the columns id, so 101 id, name, ram. Okay, name. Okay, so let's say salary. Okay, salary is 1000. Okay, so this is how the code is available. Next, the second row id 102 id, now name, let's say anu. Okay, let's say salary, let's say 2000. Okay, so this is how. Okay, so this is nothing but xml language. Okay, extensive markup language, this is what the xml language you can call it as. Okay, so this is okay, these things are nothing but like nodes. You can call it as nodes, 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 or tags. Okay, so this is a case sensitive language. So this is only browser can read it. You cannot open in a notepad file, the browser is going to read it. So this is, you need to employ, you need to end this. Okay, so for example, when I save this, uh, let me save here employee dot, okay, xml. You need to, okay, already that it is available, employee dot xml. So this is how dot xml is the extension. You need to save on that. Now close it, go back. Okay, now if you see, where is that file? Where I have saved it? Here on, right? Yeah, here, just now. Okay, so xml file, so this is what the xml file employee. So when you double click on this, it will open here. See the data 101 ram, some kind of thing it is showing. Okay, I haven't clearly mentioned, so that is why it is showing that employee, employee id, name, salary. Okay, this is a case sensitive, guys. So if I missed anything like this, the same name should be there. Salary, the same kind of salary should be there in a capital. Now save it. Okay. Now see, this is what the okay XML language. So the browser is going to read the data. Okay, the browser is nothing but okay, the browser is going to read the data. You cannot read the data in the notepad file. You can open with a notepad file, but if you double click directly on this, it is going to open the browser. Okay, whatever the data it is having 101 ram 1000 102 anu 2000 and it is ended. Okay, for example, if I wanted to supply data from one platform to another, like I want to read data from Oracle, like I want to move the I want to supply the data from Oracle to SQL server. Okay, Oracle to SQL server. So if I want to use, then you can use this kind of XML sources or a destination. Okay, for example, there is a data. Okay, there is a data. I want to supply that data. Okay, that data is available in the SQL server. For example, let us understand. I want to supply that data to the Oracle. Okay, so what is going to happen? Can I directly move the data or supply the data into the Oracle? It is not possible. There would be some kind of communication in between those two servers or those two platforms. So for example, if the communication is happen, so you cannot understand, like for example, the Oracle will not understand what you are doing. So like for example, there is a Java, so Java don't know. Okay, so for example, there is a Java kind of application where they are using. If you want to load the data, if you want to supply the data from SQL server to Java, can SQL server, can Java understand what SQL server? No, right? Can .NET understand? No. Okay, so don't read from other platform. There is a language dependency. Okay, there is a language dependency. So for example, you let me give you, there is a Spanish guy and a Chinese guy. Okay, so Spanish guy is going to speak Spanish. Chinese guy, he will speak in Chinese. So if they want to communicate to each other, so they don't know the common language. They don't know the common language. For example, Spanish, let us think that SSIS. Chinese, let us think that Java or .NET or something else. If you want to communicate between these two technologies or languages, we need one common thing, common language. That common language, what it will do, it can uh, understand the SSIS, it can understand the Java or .NET. Okay, so for example, Spanish guy is speaking in Spanish language and Chinese guy is talking or speaking in Chinese language. If they both they want to do or some kind of a communication, there would be some kind of mediator should be required, right? That mediator should be required. So what mediator will do, he will translate the Chinese language to Spanish, Spanish language to Chinese. So the problem is solved. So for example, I want to get the data from Java application into the SQL server. So the Java is going to send some kind of data. So how the data is going to be getting from Java? So this SSIS or SQL server does not understand Java, so it cannot communicate. And Java is also cannot understand the SQL server language, right? SQL language, so it cannot understand what it has to do. So we need one mediator, okay, here, to communicate between these two technologies or these two tools. So we need one mediator, that is language dependency should not be there, so that we can use XML source. Okay, if you are saving the data, whatever the Java is providing us the data, that data is going to be loading into the I mean the XML file. The XML file is, okay, language dependency, it is not going to be having any language dependency, so it is easily communicating with SQL server or SSIS also. Okay, so why we created XML here? To remove the platform dependency. Okay, to remove the platform dependency. There is a more platform dependency, platform language dependency. So this, by using XML, so it is going to be removed. The platform dependency is not available if you load the data in the XML file. Okay, this XML file can communicate to SSIS or SQL server, and can communicate to .NET or Java applications. Clear? So that is why. So if you are getting the data in XML, then it is a very, okay. It is a very smooth. Like, you can easily handle that data. In which tech, in which tool you want to load the data, you can easily load. Okay, that is what the XML file, the beauty of the XML file. So raw file is somewhat different. Okay, so raw file is somewhat different. So the raw file is also I am going to be explaining you. Okay, don't worry for now, both the differences I will give you. So why we creating XML files? So if someone in interview, if anyone is asking, so why always you will get the data in XML? So sir, to remove the platform dependency, so that is why we are going to be getting the data. So like, we are not getting the data in the form of files. I mean, maybe we will get the data in the form of Excel files and notepad files. Some data is going to be directly coming into the SQL server, but few of the files, that means if you want to get the data from Java application or a .NET application, if you want to get that data and load that data into the SQL server, then compulsory we are going to be loading that Java application data into XML. Why? Because the XML is created here to remove the platform dependency. Okay, so because of that we have used, so you need to say that. Okay, so ADO.NET destination. So these are the sources we have. Destination is like, you can connect to any of the application, outside application, and you can push the data, whatever the data you have. Okay, so this is not at all for us. Okay, so data mining, model training, for this is for data science guys. Okay, not for us, completely for data science guys. So data reader destination, so read from .NET applications. Okay, so we never use all these things, don't worry. Okay, so the next one, dimension processing. So dimension processing is nothing but a cube. Okay, cube, it is a kind of a cube. So like, um, you can process the cube by using the data flow task, by using the dimension processing. In a control flow task we have analysis services processing task. In a data flow task we are going to be having, there is a where dimension processing. By using this you can do process and you can do deployment kind of things into the destination. Okay, so Excel destination, as I told you, you can load the data into the Excel and the output. Okay, flat file is also the same. OLEDB destination, OLEDB destination is you can connect to any of the RDBMS tool and you can load your data into that server or something else. Okay, so partition processing, this is also coming for the queue. Okay, we'll see. And raw file destination, we'll see what is the raw file source and raw file destination right now. So record set destination. So record set destination is nothing but ADO or ADO.net. So if they wanted to read from the applications, okay, if they wanted to read the data from the applications like ADO or ADO.net, so we are going to be using this record set destination. Okay, so now SQL Server compact destination. So it will read the data from small databases. Like if you want to load or if you want to dump small amount of data, so you can use this SQL Server compact destination. Okay, so small amount of data it is going to be handling. Like if you know that only I'm having some thousands of data, so you can use this SQL Server compact destination so that it will work very faster. Why? Because it is going to be uh, uh, do some kind of reading the data and blah 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 things from small databases. Okay, if you want to load the data, the small amount of data, you can load the small amount of data. Okay, SQL Server destination means it is if you drag it and drop it, you can store only into the SQL Server destination, I mean into the SQL Server software. If you want to, okay, if you have created a table, into that table you are loading the data by using SSIS from the file. Okay, so by using a SQL Server destination, you can only, for example, if I'm having a flat file called employee, okay, flat file called employee, there is some data. That data you want to load into the SQL Server. So you can use the SQL Server destination. Or else if you want to load that data into Oracle, then you go for the OLEDB destination. OLEDB destination, it is going to be connecting to all the RDBMS tools. Okay, SQL Server destination, it is going to be connecting with only the SQL Server, not other things. Okay, not the other. Okay, so these are some of the sources and destinations we have. Okay, so in interview they will ask what kind of data you have loaded. Okay, the interview question is what kind of data you have loaded. This is the very important interview question. You need to say we have the a flat file, Excel file, XML files, and raw files also. So what is the raw files we'll discuss now. Okay, uh, okay, and in databases we have Oracle database, SQL Server database, and DB2 and okay, so you can say only couple of, only few you can say. Okay, in the interview don't say all. Okay, flat file, Excel, whatever the files, if you say those files data you are getting, means that is wrong thing. Okay, so you need to say few of them. Let's say Excel files and flat files, and in the databases you can say Oracle database and SQL Server database. Okay, this is more than enough. Clear? Okay, what is the difference between a flat file and a raw file? So flat file has a structure. Okay, raw file has no structure. Okay, so flat file, original source data used for staging. What is the meaning of the second part? Like for example, I am having a one flat file. Let's say I'm having this flat file. This flat file is employee, some kind of information is available. Okay, so I'm having a one more file called raw file. For example, let's say, okay, this is having the structure, right? This is having the structure, has a structure. It doesn't have. Why doesn't have? Why it has? So you have the text file. I'm talking about the flat file. This is the employee. So what? Okay, employee. That's a flat file. This is the raw file. Okay, same employee. So it is having the structure. It doesn't have the structure. That means I'm having one of the employee table. Sorry, employee file, notepad file. This is the notepad file. I can open. Double click on this. It will open. You can see there is a data. Okay, you can see there is a data. So much of data you have. 5,000 you have. Okay, so you can see there is so much of data you are going to be having. So you can see easily it has some kind of structure. So like employee ID tarvata. Okay, the next thing is a space or tab or something, whatever they have took. Okay, all these things you have. Okay, that is fine. But raw file, for example, save as emp dot raw, the name, the extension is a dot raw. Okay, so now go double click on this. How you will open the raw file? It has no structure at all. It has no structure at all. See, employee.raw, it appears that we don't support this file format. It is not, you cannot see the data. You cannot see, it has no structure. There is no structure for raw file. You cannot see the data inside. That is what I had told. That is what I had told you. Has structure, has no structure. Original source data used for staging. So, so I am going to be creating one package, the original source data. That means, for example, if you see here, um, I have browsed. One second. The specified header data row delimiter. Showing some issue. For example, okay, for example, there is a file. Okay, already we have chosen one employee file. Okay, this is having some kind of data. Okay, so this is the source, right? Direct source. This is, you can see the data also here. You can open that particular notepad file directly and you can see the data, no issues, right? You can load that into one of the destination, any of the destination. You can load the data after applying some kind of transformations. you can store that data. Okay, after applying some transformation, you can store that particular data into some of the destination. That is fine. This is one part. For example, if you are choosing a raw file source, so the raw file source, we need to, what we need to do means compulsory. mm, the file is damaged. Okay, that is why it is not. Okay. Let me choose another file. Okay, raw file I need to choose. Okay, this is the raw file, but it is not working actually. Okay, the file itself is having some data issue. Okay, I'll let you know. Okay, so if I choose a raw file as a source, okay, if I'm having the file, I'm having the file in one path, so I have chosen that path. I can, what I can do, I can directly load that data into the destination without applying any transformations. That means this flat file source data is having some issues, some bad data is available. We need to remove that, we need to clean that bad data and load that into the destination. Actually, the thing we need to do like that, right? Here in the flat file, we can see the data, what kind of data we have, but in a raw file source, we cannot see the data. Okay, raw file cannot open the data, cannot give the data clearly. What it will do means, it will we need to, what we need to do, we need to take any of the OLEDB or SQL server destination. So you need to do the staging first. Staging is nothing but, what is mean by staging? Staging is nothing but a replica of the source. Whatever the source file, whatever the source database, or whatever the source table or flat file or excel file, whatever the source you are taking, whatever the data is available in that particular source, the same to same as it is going to be loading into a table in a SQL Server destination or any of the OLEDB, I mean RDBMS tool. You can load that as it is data into one of the table. So now, if you have stored the data into one of the table, then what is going to happen? You can see the data, right? You can write select star from the table name. You can see the data. You can display the data, whatever the data is available in the raw file. Later, okay, so what you will do, let's, you have loaded the data here, that looks fine. So the next thing what I will do, again, I'm going to be taking the OLEDB source. Okay, OLEDB source I am going to be taking, where the data is loaded, the good data is loaded, I mean the staged data is loaded. That staged data source I am going to be connecting. From here I am going to be using some kind of what transformations I am going to be using. By using these transformations, I will clean that particular data. Okay, I will clean that particular data, and I will load the data finally into the, depends upon the requirement in which destination in Oracle I want to load. So I am going to be loading that data into the Oracle. Okay, this much of a thing we are going to be doing. So raw file source, we cannot open that file directly, so you need to do the staging. So if you do staging, what is mean by staging? So replica of the source, whatever the source is having, whatever the data we have in the source, the same data is going to be reflect into the, okay, whatever the table you have created, into that you are going to be loading the data. Clear? So that is what you need to know, very important. This is point is very important, guys. So if you give clear explanation to an interviewer, you are going to be getting very good marks in that. Okay, so less performance in a flat file, high performance in the raw file. Okay, so flat file requires a connection, so driver is required. Okay, but raw file does not require any connection, no driver is required. Okay, so the extension for flat file is .txt, and the extension is for raw file is .raw. Okay, .raw. So this is what the difference between flat file and the raw file. Okay, so I will tell you one beautiful thing. So instead of raw file data, you can choose, sorry, instead of flat file data, you can choose raw files. Okay, those is going to be loading the data very fastly. Okay, that is one important thing. And one more important file is XML file. So it does not have any platform dependency, it will remove the platform dependency. So you can connect to any of the application, Java application, .NET application. Okay, and all these things you can get the data into the XML, and you can load that XML data into the SQL server or some kind of things. Okay, so that is what you need to know. So what are the different types of flat files you are going to be having in SSIS? So flat files are nothing but notepad files. Flat files are nothing but notepad files, right? So delimited flat file, fixed width flat file, row ragged flat file, ragged right flat file. Okay, so now uh, and example, okay, I have given a very small example regarding the flat file and the raw file. Actually, there is a beautiful example I'm having, like the real-time scenario what happened regarding the storing the data in the raw file or flat file. So which one is better, and which one to use uh, as the performance wise and the security wise, which one is better, so that I'm having one of the real-time project scenario. So I will explain that scenario tomorrow. It will take at least 15 to 20 minutes to explain that scenario. So later we'll complete these four different types of flat files tomorrow. Okay, so and the next one is, so these four we have Excel files. And what is the difference between OLEDB versus OLEDB destination versus SQL server destination? Very 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 100 to 100% interview question this is. 100 or 200% interview question this is, I'm telling you. Okay, we will discuss this one also, very important that is. Okay, later we'll from day after tomorrow we will start with the demos. Okay, doing some kind of demos on this data flow. Okay, what are the transformations we have, we are going to understand each and every single transformation, and we'll do some kind of demos. First you need to know the theoretical part, what exactly what it is doing, what this is doing, then only you can go for the demos. So in each and every package you cannot create one, you cannot take one task. Okay, you are transformation. So we need to take multiple tasks, multiple transformations. Okay, you need to apply multiple transformations. So that is why first you need to know the theoretical part, what this is doing, what that is doing. Then you will know that, okay, after connecting to the source data, we need to clean the data. To clean the data, what is the requirement? So this is the requirement. For this requirement, we need to use this transformation. So we need to use this transformation. So like that, you need to, okay, think about the requirement and you need to work on. Okay, so I will give the very best example. So which one is very very better? Okay, so here we have seen only 4 to 5 differences. There is one more very important difference. I will give you very beautiful concept it is. Okay, so which one is more better, I will let you know. But my, as per my knowledge, which one is more better means raw file is more better than flat file, and XML file is more, okay, more better than the flat file. Okay, so that is what you need to know. Okay, so if you have any questions guys, you can ask me. Thank you.